Let's talk about that ongoing rise when it comes to grocery prices as they dig further into our wallets. At the checkout line, we're joined by the director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University, Sylvain Charlebois. Good to speak to you again, although, again, we constantly speak to you when it comes to sort of the bad news about grocery prices here. So can you explain, just to some of us to understand this, inflation overall was down, but the food inflation goes up. How does that math kind of work?
Well, it doesn't. The thing is, Nick, is that the food economy is somewhat separated from everything else, and it's a global market too. We're looking at global factors pushing prices higher everywhere around the world, not just in Canada. Supply chains, Ukraine, of course, climate change. So all of these things are really pushing prices much higher, including in Canada. Now, what's different this month is that for the first time in 3 years, our own food inflation rate is higher than in the U.S. So you can see that really things are going in the opposite direction at the grocery store in Canada versus what's going on, say, in the U.S. Right now.
So, food inflation, obviously we're paying more when we, check out, but we're also seeing, Sylvain, on the other hand, reports of, higher and record profits at some of the major chains across the country here. So how does that work? Because like the chains will say, well, no, our margins are very slim. This is a factor of many other factors. But can you kind of explain how profits can be so high in a period where apparently their costs are incredibly high as well?
So when you say record profits, you have to be careful. When you look at dollars, of course, every year companies should be recording record profits. It goes with inflation, of course, and revenues and costs. The difference between Canada and the U.S. is this. There's less competition in Canada. Profit margins are on average about 3% if you look at Loblaws, Empire, and Metro as an example. If you look at the U.S., the average is half, 1.5%. It may not seem like a lot, but it's a lot. 1.5% is a lot. It's billions and billions of dollars. And that's why a lot of people are claiming that there's not enough competition. We need discount grocers in Canada, and those people are right.
Yeah, we had you on CP24 Breakfast, I think it was last week, talking about the potential ability to get a discount, a legitimate sort of discount grocer.
Like a real one, like a standalone discount.
Yeah, exactly.
Grocer, exactly.
So we've had that conversation then, but let's talk about when you see the other inflation, like overall core inflation, as it were, under 6% now, that factors in gas prices, does it not? And in which case, isn't that a big input in the grocery prices? Like, are they not paying less to transport goods as well, or receive goods as well?
Well, right now we are trucking a lot of things into the Canadian market because it's the winter. And so, of course, energy costs are a big factor right now. But come the summer, the fall, it's less of an issue. It's still an issue, but it's less of an issue. But right now, I would say that energy costs are impacting food prices across the board.
Okay, is there any good news coming out of this? Any suggestion that maybe with inflation going down on the one side that perhaps food inflation may start to come down at some point this year? What are you sort of looking out and seeing?
You know, there's a myth out there, Nick. People think that meat is the one thing that's driving food prices higher, which is actually the opposite. Meat has remained a non-story for the last 6 months. If you're looking for good deals, actually, the meat counter is not that bad, especially pork. If you eat pork, pork is a bargain right now. So shop around. You'll be surprised.
The other white meat, as they call it. Okay, that is the director of the Agri-Food Analytics Lab at Dalhousie University, Sylvain Charlebois. Always appreciate the conversation, even if it is bad news. Thanks for the time again.